All right, welcome to Jonesycast. I'm Jonesy, and this is the cast. Essentially, what I do is read subreddits and reply to them using video. Jonesycast at gmail.com. If you want to email, like and subscribe if you want. If you don't, sweet. Now, all the business out of the way. This one is from user Memul34. Yeah? Memel34. I'm going through kind of a breakup. So I've read this. If any watchers other than the OP want context, I'll put the link in the description. You've been dating your partner for almost 3 years. It's been a long road to get where you are. It took you a while to start to open up. Listen, so Dan here, I need to know if I should keep fighting for her and try mending things over time. I know she still really has strong feelings for me, and I do too. I need someone to talk me through this. I've become more suicidal throughout the past few days. Okay. This is heavy, man. This is heavy. So the first thing I would say is it is normal to have those kinds of thoughts. But what I would encourage you to do is, at least in terms of this, nothing. These suicidal thoughts, do nothing. Okay? Keep doing your life. Because, and here's why I say this, because I know, and you don't, it seems right now, but I know that it doesn't matter what happens, I will be okay. And the reason I know that is because there are people who have suffered much more than both me and you, and combined, that are okay. There are people who have lost everything and they are okay now. And they had these feelings. Man, I've had suicidal ideation in the past. I said to my best mate when I was 24, I'm 32 now. I said to my best mate, look, if we don't sit down and get inside my head tonight, you're probably not going to see me again. And so he sat down and got in my head. And so I've just seen this and hopefully we can work something out. Become the man she would probably marry someday. I've done many things wrong. But look, it looks like you're willing to admit that you've done things wrong. And we all have. You are not alone in being a man who's made mistakes. Every single man you know, the good and the bad, the best man you know, he's probably coming to your mind right now, has made more mistakes than he's comfortable with, right? She's always been patient, but I know I wore her down and caused her pain, and I've come a long way from who I used to be, and I can't imagine life without the person who's helped me become the idiotic, goofy guy. Okay, so here's the deal. There's a principle that I'm going to lay out that I hope you can understand. The person who teaches us the lessons doesn't necessarily get to be the person who benefits from the lessons being learned, right? So you have become a better man because of this woman. The question is, does she get to benefit from that? And that is only a question that both of you can answer, okay? Now here is how you do that, right? Here's how you do that first, because you two have got to have a conversation in concert in which you both make the decision together. But before that happens, you've got to make it yourself. Okay, you have to make the decision to either go forward with this or to go forward somewhere else in another direction, because you will always be going forward, okay, even though it feels like you're stepping back. Here's how you do that. You need to write the pros and the cons, and I mean this, and I say it again and 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 again, because it's so important. You need to write this down, because then you can see it. This will be your compass when the shit hits the fan, which it has now, okay? You need to write down the things you want in a relationship. That's number one. You need to write down the things you don't want in a relationship. You need to write down the man you want to be in a relationship, and you need to write down the woman you want to have. And this is independent of her. It's going to be really hard for that to happen, and I know this because you're writing this all in the context of this situation, right? So it is kind of hard. But if you can, and look, If you can't, that's fine. Just write down all the things about this relationship you love, all the things you don't, the things about yourself that you love and that you don't, and the things about her that you love and you don't. You really need to write this down, because that will give you perspective, and it will train you. You will train yourself on how to articulate yourself and how to solve problems, because relationships are hard work, man. They require homework. And a lot of people don't tell us that. A lot of people, we kind of grew up, I'm 32, I grew up with the Disney-fied version of what relationships are. I never saw my parents engage in conflict, so I didn't know how to do it. So when I engaged in conflict with the women in my past, it was a break all, be end all of the relationship potentially. But now, when I have a girlfriend now and I live with her. Now, when I have conflict with my missus, it's like, all right, all this conflict is within the context that nothing will break us. Okay. So a few days ago, a misunderstanding that turned into an argument. She blocked me because she couldn't take it, and she said she was tired of disappointing me and not being enough for me. I've had that said before. Oh man, and it breaks my heart. I fully feel like tearing up right now because, it's brutal. It's fucking brutal, dude. And I feel your pain. And I know I've caused this argument. She's done everything right to me, and she's always been the one to keep me going, and she's never one done. Okay. That's not true. She's done everything right to me. That's not true. She's never once done something to hurt me. That's not true. Now, I know you feel that it's true, but the problem is what you're doing now is you're setting the level of expectation and onus higher on you than her. You're setting the standard of what is a mistake heavier on you. You're putting her on a pedestal. Now, I don't mean that she's fucked up. Like, look, in a sense, you are right and I'm wrong in that context, simply because that is the way you see it. There are things that are objective, like traffic laws and physics, and there are things that are subjective. And this is one of those subjective things. So, I mean, my question is, if you genuinely believe that she's done everything right and she's been the one to keep you going and she's never once done something to hurt you, why did the argument happen? And also, why haven't you told her that? And also, like, where do we find women like that? Because I've never met a woman that's like that. I don't know if they make them like that. But anyway, that's a side point. Here's what you do. You write down what you want, what you don't want, what you like in yourself, and what you like in her, and what you don't like in her and what you don't like in. You need to write it down. The second thing is you have a conversation with her and you very strongly communicate in the least amount of words possible that you do not want this to end, that you love her with all your heart, and that you will do what it takes. Look, man, I'll be honest with you, dude. This made my girlfriend cry when I said this to her. We were in the car and I said to her, I will have the same conversation with you again and again and again and again and again and again and again until the issue is solved. I will do that because that is the only option. That is the only option. Either we get through this together or we break up now. Because if we don't get through it together and we don't break up now, we'll break up later because we couldn't get through it together. That's the only option. You've only got 3 options when a problem presents itself in your life. 3 options. You deal with it, you change it, or you walk away. Now, you two have to do this together. You either have to deal with it together, change it together, or walk away together, right? Those are the only options, right? Now, I want for you the best outcome, but I don't know what that is, right? I think that if you communicate to her that you will do what is necessary, a lot of guys think that what is necessary is, proving bravado or, sacrificing themselves but the truth is, this is an equal generation as much as it can be. And that is the overarching philosophy of this generation. And so given that, you need to have these conversations with her and her with you. You need to listen to her. I'll give you a little tactic you can use. Me and my missus have something called listening time. I say whatever I want and she can't say anything, right? And it goes as long as it has to. She cannot say anything. It doesn't matter if she wants to cry. It doesn't matter if it hurts. It doesn't matter if it offends. It doesn't matter if she disagrees. She can't say anything. Then I stop. Then she does it. And she can address in that time what I said. But also she can just say what she wants. And I can't say anything. And look, man, it's difficult, but I hold to the principle. I hold to the principle because otherwise it's all gravy. Otherwise it's all just bananas and peaches, right? Otherwise there's no structure. You must hold to the principle. Now, you also have to forgive each other for your flaws. She has to forgive you because you're a bit of a douchebag and you've already admitted that. But you also have to forgive her because, let's be honest, she's not the perfect princess that you're pointing out. She has flaws and she makes mistakes and she's a woman, right? The truth should never offend, but sometimes it can hurt. And you just have to deal with the fact, both of you, that you are in a relationship with a human who is broken, who is not perfect, and they have beliefs, they have trust issues, they have desires that we do not understand and we sometimes cannot accept. But I don't have to understand what my girlfriend believes or desires. I just have to accept it. Because if I don't accept it, well, it's over, right? So I'm willing to accept it. Now, there are some things that I will not accept, and then it's over, and that's fine because I'll be okay, all right? But I am willing, and I've said this to my girlfriend before, I am willing to break up with you if that's what it takes. Like, it's a complex idea to kind of communicate, but I'm willing to risk breaking up to tell the truth. I'm willing to risk breaking up to be as honest as I can. And I'm willing to risk it because I'm all in. I am all in. There is no plan B, right? Now, I know what I'll do if we break up. Again, I'll be okay. I don't have a plan, but I'll be okay. I'll sort it out, right? But I don't think it needs to go that far, man. I think that I need to know if I should keep fighting for her and try mending things over time. I think you need to mend some things in yourself. And I don't think you should put the burden of that on her. I think you should put the burden of that. You should share that burden with your mates, with your family if you can, with a professional counselor or psychologist if you can. You need to read books. You need to read books about psychology, about how to deal with problems, about how to master yourself. And audio books if it needs to be that way. Like you don't have to be super literate, but you've got to listen to good advice. You need wisdom in your life. She really still has strong feelings for me, and I do too. I need someone to talk me through this and I'll become more suicidal. Listen, man, again, I grew up in church. I'm an atheist now. I don't go to church, but I grew up in church. And I heard a preacher come one day and he said, it's okay to want to quit. Just don't quit. And that is my life principle, man. It's one of them. It's that it's okay to want to quit. Just don't quit. Don't ever, 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 ever quit. And at that time you want to quit, feel it. Really feel it. Feel the pain. Feel the hopelessness. Feel the sadness. Feel the depression. Feel it. Accept it. Walk into it. Really deal with it. Master it. Put those feelings on a leash. And sometimes you're not going to feel like you do have them on a leash. Sometimes they are going to feel bigger than you, and that's okay. Because feelings are fleeting. Reasons are not, right? Sometimes, if reasons are based on feelings, they are. But sound reasoning is not fleeting. Sound reasoning is consistent over time. It's one of the reasons that science works. There's no emotion in science, in the practice and method of science. Now, practitioners of science will defend wrongly their theories because of their emotions. But if they were to take a step back and if they were to use reason, they would see the truth. Now, what I'm saying to you is, I can totally understand that you feel what you feel, but you cannot submit to those feelings because they are fleeting and you are not. They are temporary. And I suppose you are, but you're a lot less temporary. You cannot submit to them. You need to experience them. You can't deny them. You can't push them away. You can't suppress them. A lot of men try to do that because they don't know how to answer the questions that are posed to them by even themselves, right? Or by life. But you can't give up, because if you do, you will not know, because you're dead, what could have been. Like, if I'm honest, man, I don't know how old you are, but if you're in your early 20s, there's a very, very high chance that you will find someone even more compatible with you. And because you've learned the lessons of this relationship, and because you've become the better man, the woman that you meet gets a better man than this woman right now met, right? But again, let's not go there just yet. Let's just sit here and talk about this relationship. There is a way to fix this. 100% there's a way. You just need to do it together, and you need to be willing. But you need to drive that. You need to find... So like any man... Sorry, that's an aeroplane ahead. I apologize for that. Friedrich Nietzsche said, had a saying that was, any man who has a why can bear any how. If you have a why, and this woman could be your why, or the overarching principle of I will be okay could be your why. Doesn't matter what your why is, as long as you got a why, you can do anything, mate. You can bear any burden. You can pick up any backpack and drag that thing along as long as you have a reason why. Okay, so don't give up. But going back to what I said, you do have issues to sort out within yourself, and they are your responsibility. Okay, they're not hers. They are her problem because you're her man, but they are your responsibility. They are not your fault. Your trauma and your baggage is not your fault, but it is your responsibility. Okay, because otherwise it's for someone else to deal with, and they can't. You're the only one that can deal with it. So listen, man, I really wish you the best. I really wish you the best. I hope that this video has helped, and my heart goes out to you, man. Again, I'm just some dude on the internet, so you don't have to listen to what I've said. That's fine, but I really wish you the best, man. Good luck.